Welcome to Feature Friday, where we explore all the cool functions of our Roof Wizard software. Today I'd like to explore some of the functions under the heading of allowances as they're applied to various metal panel systems. So here's my model. I've created an outline which is all pretty cool, and as is usually the case, I go to from our main menu, the tools menu, and I want to show my line types and my dimensions, and you go, whoa, hang on, that's a bit hard to read. And the reason is that we've got a plot scale of 1 to 200. A job of this size doesn't meet a plot at that scale, so if we change it back to say 100, everything looks more readable. And if you really want to go a little bit further, you might even go, well, let's make it 1 to 75. It's an odd scale, but this will show you what's going on. So that's the whole purpose of the plot scale, is to represent what you see on screen as to what would actually happen if you plotted this particular job at whatever that scale is. All right, so I'm happy with all of that stuff. So I've got a model to work on, and I'm about to apply metal panels to this roof. So if we select the metal panel, one of the options here, if it gets that one will do. We don't care what the colour is, to be advised. One of the things that a lot of people just skip right over, but it's important to pay attention to, is the way the software uses allowances. Now this becomes important, especially when you're re-roofing and your guys go out and measure up the roof. You'll find a lot of them will actually measure the roof and then apply what they believe to be the appropriate allowance to overhang into the gutter and set back from the hip and ridge and all of that. And what you've got to try and do is educate them on the process that indeed don't do that. Just measure the roof, and I will take care of the allowances using the software to help me with that. And to highlight how that all works, if we cancel out of there, we then go to Estimate, Allowances. This is where you set up your allowances, and it's important to understand also that the way the allowance is applied is different for each estimation method. So if we were doing a panel layout, general panel layout, we way too complicated. That's to try and reuse the offcuts, and I'm using skinny gutted panels, so whatever. I'm going to apply individual panels, that is to say the generate panels option. And in that case, I've got a whole bunch of offsets, so I can define the offset for gutter overhang, hip clearance, ridge clearance, gable clearance, etc. And then there's other things that we can deal with in a minute. But the thing to know is that I can then save that away as an allowance file for that particular roof system. So you can see here I've got a whole bunch of different systems here for different purposes, but if you might have a different set of allowances for applying a corrugated roof versus a clip block or a standing seam roof. So keep that in mind. If you do a variety of panel profiles, you might need to define an allowance file especially for each one of those. Now, one of the options I've got set down here is the function for applying those offset values without offsetting. Now, before I do that, I'm going to show you with the offsets. So under the function here for set panels, I'm going to apply the offsets for the profile that I'm about to use. That'll do. Doesn't matter what it is for now. I'm using my default allowances, and I hit OK and continue. You'll see now that I've actually got a fine line, and that's representing the geometry of the panel. So if I generate my panels now, you'll see that it's actually a set back from the valley, offset into the gutter, and set back from the hip and ridge. Now, in some situations, that's going to be critical to explain to people exactly, or show them that you've done the right thing. And then there are other situations where that's just way too complicated. So if I delete all those, and if I go back and delete the offsets and generate the panels again, I'm getting the same lengths, and the reason I'm getting the same lengths is because I've said apply the offset values without actually drawing the offsets on the roof. So it's entirely up to you which way you go, but it's certainly useful to know that those functions are available to you. Another little thing that is important to understand is that when you do the auto block method, which is something that's rather unique to Australia and New Zealand, the other clearances for hips and ridges do not get applied. When you do blocking, the only allowance that's applied is the gutter overhang. So take note of that. These other allowances do not get applied when you do blocking. And that's just to reflect the way the installers work out their sheet lengths. Okay, another little thing I'd like to show you while we're on it is we've got functions here to move the text around. You see over here where the dimensions of or the lengths of all the roof sheets are all sort of disappearing into one another. You've got a function over here under Modify Panels to move text. So if you wanted to move that bit of text from where it is and put it out here and delete a line, so that makes it a whole lot easier to see, and it's not sort of clogging up other parts of the job. There's another one here, that one, that's we want to move that, and we'll put it there, we'll put the leader line there, so it's easily read. So little things like that. Explore all the functions. There's another one here, which is, no, not that one. That one, a bit hard to read, stuck in there, so I'm going to put it there, and I'll put the leader line against it. So explore the functions here, read up on them. The online help is extremely beneficial. If you get stuck on anything, read the help files. They tell you what to do. All right, well, that's a quick and dirty on allowances. Remember that you need to set these things up to suit the way you work in your business. We don't prescribe to you exactly what has to happen. We provide the tools to allow you to set the software up to how you need to work for your situation. If you've got any questions, fire off an email to inquiries@AppliCad or give us a call. My team is available to help you almost every day of the week, and goodness me, these days we feel like we're working 24/7. Okay, that's it for Feature Friday for this week. Have fun with the software, and we'll look forward to seeing you again this time next week. Bye for now.